Before we dive in, please consider subscribing to the Healthy Life at 60 channel and hitting the notification bell. It helps us reach more people and spread valuable health information for a happier, healthier old age. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Minh Tung, and I'm a senior nutritionist with over 30 years of experience. I've been helping elderly patients manage diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease through natural nutrition. Today, I want to start with a short but very important question. Do you have to avoid all sweet fruits if you have diabetes? The answer, based on my clinical experience, is no. Unfortunately, this is one of the biggest misunderstandings I see among my elderly diabetic patients. Because they're so afraid of sugar, many of you completely cut fruit from your diets. What's the result? Insomnia due to a lack of serotonin, constipation from insufficient fiber, fatigue caused by a vitamin C deficiency, and weak bones because of low potassium and magnesium. Your health deteriorates, yet your blood sugar remains uncontrolled. Sweet fruits that won't spike your blood sugar. Today, I want to look at this issue from an objective and scientific perspective. We'll discover that some fruits are sweet, but in a way that's gentle on your body. They don't just avoid raising blood sugar, they can also help lower it, stabilize your heart, and support your digestive system. I'm going to share details on 4 popular and delicious fruits that doctors and nutritionists in many countries recommend for elderly people with diabetes. I'll also explain the correct way to eat them, how much, at what time, and what mistakes to avoid, so that each piece of fruit becomes a natural medicine. Later in this video, I'll also warn you about 5 seemingly healthy but dangerous fruits that are in many households' fruit baskets, as well as 4 habits that seem healthy but are weakening the pancreas in older people day by day. I believe that after watching this, some of you will exclaim, "I wish I had known this sooner. I can't believe sweet fruits can be so good for you." 1. Ripe papaya, a golden medicine for elderly diabetics. There's a fruit that's soft, golden yellow, and as sweet as honey, yet many people with diabetes are wary of it. A lot of elderly patients ask me timidly, "Doctor, papaya is so sweet. Should I eat it?" This simple question reflects a common belief ingrained in many people's minds: if it's sweet, avoid it. If a fruit has a strong taste, it must be bad for you if you have diabetes. But the opposite is often true. Over my 30 years of working with diabetic patients, I've seen countless people miss out on healthy foods because of an unfounded fear of sugar. Ripe papaya is a prime example. Many patients completely remove papaya from their daily diet, only to suffer from chronic constipation, indigestion, a feeling of heat in their bodies, nausea, and restless sleep. When I ask them why they don't eat papaya, the answer is always the same: "It's too sweet, I'm afraid my blood sugar will rise." I often smile gently and say, if you eat it the right way, ripe papaya won't harm you. It's a precious gift for your intestines, liver, and even your pancreas. It's true. Ripe papaya offers great benefits for elderly diabetics. The sugar in papaya is mainly natural fructose, which is absorbed much more slowly than refined sugars or starches. Most importantly, papaya is rich in soluble fiber, particularly pectin, which helps slow down the rate at which sugar enters the bloodstream after you eat. As a result, papaya helps stabilize blood sugar levels, preventing the sudden spikes that other foods can cause. Papaya also contains a valuable enzyme called papain. This is a powerful digestive enzyme that helps break down proteins and makes it easier for your stomach to work. For older people with a weak or sluggish digestive system, papain is a silent friend that makes meals feel lighter and reduces bloating and indigestion. A small piece of papaya in the morning can be a natural medicine that stimulates bowel movements, helps remove waste, and gently detoxifies the colon. In addition to papain, ripe papaya is a treasure trove of nutrients, including vitamins A and C, potassium, and many antioxidants. These components help soothe inflammation, protect blood vessels, stabilize blood pressure, and improve heart function, all of which are crucial for older people, especially those living with diabetes. A notable study by scientists at Mahidol University in Thailand showed that type 2 diabetics who ate about 100 to 150 grams of ripe papaya every day for 3 months had more stable blood sugar levels than the group who didn't. This result wasn't a miracle, it was the combined effect of the papain enzyme, soluble fiber, vitamins, antioxidants, and potassium in the fruit. Together, they create a natural solution that supports blood sugar regulation and improves overall health. I remember the story of an elderly patient, Mrs. Nguyen Thai Thu, 72, who lives in Go Vap, Ho Chi Minh City. She told me she had loved eating ripe papaya her whole life but had stopped for several years after a neighbor told her it would raise her blood sugar. Since then, she'd suffered from constipation, indigestion, and had to use laxatives regularly. After I advised her on the correct way to eat it, a small amount each day, in the morning or between meals, and not on an empty stomach, she went back to her beloved papaya. Only a month later, she came back for her follow-up with a radiant smile. Her constipation was gone, her appetite had improved, and her blood sugar had not risen. In fact, it was even more stable than before. She laughed and said, "Now my children and grandchildren have to fight with me over the papaya because everyone wants to eat it." Of course, like any food, papaya has its own personality. Eat it correctly, and it's your friend. Eat it wrong, and it can be harmful. For older people, a good amount is about 100 to 150 grams per serving. You shouldn't eat too much at once. Most importantly, avoid eating it on an empty stomach, as the strong papain enzyme can irritate the stomach lining. If you have severe stomach issues or ulcers, it's best to eat papaya after a main meal to ensure a gentler digestive process. Another important point is that the riper and softer the papaya, the more likely it is to ferment. So, you should choose a papaya that's just ripe, with a firm texture and a deep orange color. Once you cut it, try to eat it all the same day. Don't leave it overnight or in the fridge for too long, as it will lose nutrients and breed bacteria. If just a plate of papaya each morning can help ease stomach pain, lower blood sugar, cool the liver, improve digestion, and help you sleep better, why would we ignore such a simple and accessible gift? We live in an era where medicine has become a habit, but sometimes the solution is right there in the fruit basket in our kitchen. You just need to understand and eat it correctly. Ripe papaya is a gentle and helpful fruit for older people, especially those managing diabetes. Banana, stabilizing blood pressure and improving sleep. There's a very common, inexpensive fruit that you can find in almost every Vietnamese household. Yet, it's often the most shunned fruit by diabetics because it's thought to be too sweet and will cause a blood sugar spike. I'm talking about the banana, a familiar and nutritious gift that many older people unknowingly miss out on. Like papaya, this misunderstanding has led countless individuals to lose out on a valuable natural medicine for their heart, blood sugar, and even sleep. During my 30-plus years as a nutritionist, I've often seen older patients hesitate when I suggest adding bananas to their diet. "Doctor, bananas are so sweet. Will they raise my blood sugar? Or I heard bananas aren't good for diabetics. Is that true?" These questions aren't wrong, but they come from an incomplete perspective, one that doesn't distinguish between different types of bananas, their ripeness, or how to use them correctly. The truth is that a just ripe banana, one that's not too green and not too soft, is a fruit with a relatively stable glycemic index. This is due to its high content of resistant starch. Resistant starch is a type of starch that isn't fully digested in the small intestine. Instead, it travels to the large intestine, where it becomes food for good bacteria. This process slows the absorption of glucose and improves insulin sensitivity, meaning that a just ripe banana won't cause the sudden blood sugar spike that many people fear. Furthermore, ripe bananas are rich in potassium, an essential mineral that helps stabilize blood pressure, relax blood vessels, and reduce the strain on the heart. For older people with fluctuating blood pressure or a risk of hypertension due to age, a banana each morning is a smart choice that helps regulate cardiovascular function naturally, without medication. I want to share a real-life story about Mr. Levan Dao, a 68-year-old man from Dong On, Hanoi. He was very careful about his diet and would measure his blood sugar before and after breakfast every day because of his mild blood sugar and blood pressure issues. At first, he was very hesitant to eat fruit in the morning for fear of raising his blood sugar. However, after I explained that a just ripe banana could help stabilize his blood sugar and even improve his sleep, he agreed to try it for 3 weeks. The results surprised even him. His blood sugar didn't rise, his blood pressure remained stable, and, most notably, he slept more deeply, falling asleep easily and no longer waking up in the middle of the night. So why does a banana have this effect? Besides fiber and resistant starch, bananas also contain a special compound called tryptophan. When absorbed by the body, tryptophan is converted into serotonin, a neurotransmitter that improves mood, reduces anxiety, and creates a feeling of relaxation. Serotonin is also a precursor for melatonin, the hormone that controls sleep. Therefore, a banana in the morning not only helps balance blood sugar but also positively affects the nervous system, improving the quality of sleep and the mental well-being of older people. Bananas are also easy to digest, making them suitable for people with weak digestive systems, poor appetite, or absorption issues. In addition to potassium and tryptophan, bananas contain magnesium, vitamin B6, vitamin C, and a small amount of antioxidants that help fight vascular inflammation, boost immunity, and soothe aging internal organs. However, for bananas to have the best effect on older people with diabetes and high blood pressure, you must follow a few important rules. First, only choose just ripe bananas and avoid those that are overripe and soft with many brown spots. At that stage, the simple sugar content in the banana increases significantly and can cause a sudden blood sugar spike if not eaten correctly. Second, don't eat a banana on an empty stomach, especially if you have stomach issues, as it can stimulate stomach acid and cause a burning or bloated feeling. The best time to eat a banana is about an hour after breakfast or to combine it with oats, chia seeds, or plain yogurt to enhance its blood sugar stabilizing effect. A suitable amount is 1 average-sized banana each day. Don't eat 2 at once, and absolutely do not eat bananas in the evening, as they can cause a cold stomach and indigestion for those with a weak digestive system. Dear friends, just 1 banana in the morning, the right type, at the right time, and in the right way, can help your body stabilize blood sugar, keep your heart rate steady, soothe your nervous system, and set the stage for a deep sleep. Instead of relying on various supplements, many older people find their health gradually recovering just by adjusting their diet and choosing the right fruits. We don't need a lot of miracles because nature has given us healing foods like the ripe banana. The important thing is to understand and use it correctly. The banana isn't the enemy of diabetics. On the contrary, if used wisely, it's a sweet sword that helps fight blood sugar and blood pressure disorders and age-related neurological decline. I still remember a 75-year-old gentleman who told me something very heartfelt after changing his breakfast to include a banana. "Doctor, I never thought eating a banana would help me sleep so well. That simple breakfast turned out to be what kept my blood pressure in check and made my heart feel lighter." This is the message I want to convey today. If you're still hesitant about bananas because of their sweetness, please change your perspective. If you choose correctly, eat correctly, and understand correctly, a sweet fruit like the banana can be a friendly, inexpensive, and effective companion, especially for the elderly. Red apples, a fortress against diabetes and aging. There's a familiar saying that has become a global medical adage: an apple a day keeps the doctor away. This might sound like a light-hearted phrase, but it holds a nutritional truth backed by years of serious scientific research. For older people, in particular, the apple is not just a pleasant snack but one of the most powerful fruits for protecting overall health, from blood sugar to the heart and brain. Red apples, especially the darker red varieties, are a treasure trove of nutrients packed into a simple exterior. The light sweetness of an apple comes not from refined sugar but from natural fructose, combined with a generous amount of soluble fiber, especially pectin. This fiber forms a gel in the intestines, which slows down the digestion and absorption of sugar, preventing sudden blood sugar spikes after you eat. This is incredibly important for people managing diabetes. What's more, red apples contain a large number of antioxidants like flavonoids and polyphenols. These compounds don't just protect blood vessels from free radical damage, they also help reduce inflammation, protect nerve cells, and prevent brain cell degeneration. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that people who ate apples regularly had a lower incidence of cardiovascular disease, a slower rate of cellular aging, and better memory retention in their old age. I want to share the story of Mrs. Trinthai B., 73, a former patient of mine from Thuduk. She rarely ate fruit because she was afraid of sugar, stomach aches, and a cold stomach. It wasn't until her son suggested she try eating an apple in the afternoon instead of her usual biscuits and soda that she decided to make a change. Just a few weeks later, she came back for her regular checkup feeling energized. She was sleeping more deeply, her blood pressure was stable, and the heavy, tired feeling she used to have in the mornings was gone. She told me that thanks to eating an apple every day, her stomach felt lighter, she was less bloated, and her constipation had disappeared. Mrs. Trin's story isn't unique. I've met hundreds of patients in their 60s and 70s who previously paid little attention to fruit or only ate it out of habit. But when they started adding red apples to their diet, they all reported a clear improvement in their health. Specifically, those with a history of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or mild memory loss UNHNTHYS cockpits or MTN high thymus DNGNG CAC. However, eating apples also requires a proper method. First, you should eat the skin, as it contains the highest concentration of flavonoids and antioxidants. But because the skin can have pesticide residue or preservative wax on it, you need to wash it thoroughly with a diluted salt solution or choose organic apples if you can. Second, you shouldn't eat an apple on an empty stomach, as the fruit's acid can cause a sour stomach or irritation for those with a sensitive stomach. The best time to eat an apple is in the morning after a main meal or in the early afternoon when your body needs a gentle energy boost. A good amount for an older person is one small apple or half of a large one each day. There's no need to eat too much, quality is always more important than quantity. You can eat apples on their own or combine them with nuts like almonds or cashews to boost their cardiovascular benefits. An apple slice with a container of plain yogurt in the afternoon is also an excellent choice for older people who need to stabilize their blood sugar and protect their digestive system. I often tell my patients that a red apple is like a silent fortress. It's not loud or flashy, but when it's in the right place at the right time, it becomes a strong shield that helps your body fight high blood sugar, unstable blood pressure, and the silent process of aging. Eating an apple is a simple act, but it can lead to profound changes if you do it regularly every day. More importantly, the apple isn't just a source of nutrition, it's a symbol of self-care. When an older person decides to swap a sugary snack for an apple, it's not just a change in taste, it's a proactive change in lifestyle. An apple is a reminder that we still hold the key to our own health, even as old age knocks on the door. I hope that after this, more of you will be ready to place a red apple on your table each morning or afternoon. Not because it's a trendy fruit, but because it's a kind, gentle, and effective friend on your journey to staying healthy in your senior years. If such a simple action can help you live a longer, happier life, is there any reason to hesitate? Ripe mango, a sweet double-edged sword. If there's one fruit that confuses diabetics the most, one that they both crave and fear, it's the ripe mango. It's no surprise, as mangoes are known for their rich sweetness and enticing aroma. Many older people believe that anything sweet, especially the intense sweetness of a mango, must be avoided. As a result, mangoes have long been on the forbidden list for many diabetic patients. But is that belief really true? As a longtime nutritionist, I can tell you that mangoes don't deserve such a bad reputation. On the contrary, if you choose the right type of mango and eat it at the right time in the right amount, it can be an incredibly useful natural medicine for older people living with diabetes, high blood pressure, and other metabolic diseases. The mango is a tropical fruit with a rich nutrient profile. Ripe mangoes contain vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin B6, folic acid, potassium, magnesium, and a large amount of antioxidants. Most importantly, mangoes are one of the few fruits rich in a plant compound called mangiferin. Mangiferin is a special polyphenol that has anti-inflammatory, liver protective, and immune-modulating properties. It also helps control blood sugar by inhibiting the alpha-glucosidase enzyme. This enzyme breaks down carbohydrates into sugar, so when it's inhibited, the absorption of glucose into the bloodstream is slowed down, which helps stabilize blood sugar after a meal. This is why, despite its sweetness, the mango isn't a forbidden fruit for diabetics, as long as it's eaten correctly. In my practice, I have followed many elderly patients who avoided mangoes for years due to their fear of sugar. When they started eating just ripe mangoes again, following my specific instructions on amount and timing, their blood sugar not only didn't rise but they also reported improvements in digestion, sleep, and their daily energy levels. I want to tell you about Mrs. Howe, 75, who lives on Camtien Street. She absolutely refused to touch a single piece of mango for 10 years because of her fear of her blood sugar spiking. However, after I explained the correct way to eat it, she tried eating about 100 grams of just ripe mango in the middle of the morning, without any added sugar, salt, or other seasoning. A month later, she went for a checkup, and her blood sugar results were perfectly stable. Her blood pressure had improved, her sleep was deeper, and her mind was clearer than before. She laughed and said that since she was able to eat her favorite fruit again, she felt a freshness in her body. Every morning, I peel a mango and eat it while I say my prayers. I feel as light as a child again. This was not just a physical improvement but a positive change in her mental state, which for older people is sometimes even more important than medication. Mangoes are also rich in vitamin A and lutein, two nutrients that are very important for protecting eyesight. In older people, macular degeneration, dry eyes, and poor vision at night are common problems. When used correctly, mangoes can be a valuable ally that helps maintain healthy eyes and prevents retinal aging. In addition, the fiber in mango supports digestion, reduces constipation, and improves colon function, an issue often overlooked but one that significantly affects the quality of life in old age. However, like a double-edged sword, mangoes can become harmful if used incorrectly. Overly ripe mangoes will contain a higher amount of simple sugars, which can rapidly increase blood sugar if eaten in large quantities. Eating mangoes with added salt, sugar, syrup, or condensed milk will cause a spike in sugar intake, putting too much stress on the pancreas and heart. You should also absolutely avoid eating mangoes in the evening or right after a big meal, as it can cause bloating, indigestion, and even a silent blood sugar increase while you sleep. So, what is the right way to eat mangoes? The answer lies in 3 key points: the right type, the right amount, and the right time. You should choose a just right mango with a bright yellow color that isn't too soft. The right amount is about 100 to 120 grams per serving, which is about half of a medium-sized mango. You should eat it in the morning or between 2 meals when your body needs a gentle energy boost. Never eat mangoes in the evening or after 7 p.m. You also shouldn't eat mangoes on an overly empty stomach, as it can irritate the stomach for those with digestive issues. One more important point is that you should eat the whole fruit, sliced and chewed slowly, instead of blending it into a smoothie or juicing it. Keeping the fiber in the whole fruit slows down the absorption of sugar, which reduces the pressure on your pancreas. If you really want to drink mango juice, you should dilute it with water, add no sugar, and drink less than 100 milliliters at a time. My friends, the mango is a precious gift from nature, but like any fruit, if you don't know how to use it, it can bring risks. For an older person, especially someone living with diabetes, mango isn't a food to be completely avoided. In fact, if you choose and eat it correctly, mango can be a natural medicine that helps regulate blood sugar, improves eyesight, supports digestion, and boosts your mood. I hope that after this, you will look at mangoes differently. Don't be timid or extreme, instead, learn how to adjust, how to take advantage of the benefits, and how to turn a simple food into medicine. Perhaps today, by simply replacing a sweet dessert with a few slices of just ripe mango, you can help your body start a new chapter that's gentler, healthier, and more alert. Warning: 5 dangerous sweet fruits for diabetics. In my years of working with older people, I've noticed a worrying trend. It's not that older people don't care about their health, on the contrary, they are very careful and meticulous. But this concern sometimes stems from inaccurate information, which leads to choices that seem harmless but can unintentionally cause blood sugar spikes, liver damage, blood vessel injury, and a host of other dangerous complications. One of the most common mistakes is eating seemingly safe fruits that are actually loaded with hidden sugars. These fruits may appear benign, but they have a high sugar content and can cause a lot of internal heat, making them unsuitable for diabetics or older people with underlying health conditions. I want to be very clear and direct about this, because without this warning, many of you will continue with these bad habits, believing they are nutritious. I have seen many elderly patients whose blood sugar levels have risen inexplicably despite their seemingly healthy diets. When I asked them about their eating habits, I discovered they were eating a few lychees, a handful of grapes, a slice of jackfruit, or a bit of durian every day. These are all sweet fruits, but they are the kind of sweetness that exhausts the pancreas and puts the cardiovascular system into a dangerous cycle. Below are 5 fruits that older people, especially diabetics, should limit or avoid completely, no matter how much you love them. 1. Lychee, a fast-acting sugar bomb. Lychee is a popular summer fruit with an intensely sweet, fragrant, and pleasant taste. It's a nostalgic treat for many. But for older people, lychee is a fruit that's sweet on the outside and dangerous on the inside. 100 grams of lychee contains nearly 17 grams of sugar, mostly fructose and glucose, 2 simple sugars that the body absorbs extremely quickly. Eating just 10 lychees is enough to make your blood sugar spike within 30 minutes. What's more, lychees are very hot in nature, which can cause internal heat, acne, insomnia, bloating, and a restless feeling, especially if eaten in the afternoon or evening. Eating lychees on an empty stomach can even lead to reactive hypoglycemia, causing fatigue and dizziness. For older people, it can also lead to temporary emotional or behavioral issues. I once had a 78-year-old patient in Da Nang who was admitted to the hospital feeling faint with an abnormally fast heart rate after eating nearly 20 lychees for lunch. A blood test showed his blood sugar had spiked and then dropped sharply below a safe level. Within a few hours, he experienced a severe episode. The only mistake he made was eating too many lychees. 2. Grapes, small but mighty, they spike blood sugar instantly. Grapes are a favorite fruit because they're small, easy to eat, and pleasantly sweet. But grapes have a big problem: their glycemic index is much higher than most people think. 100 grams of grapes contain more than 16 grams of sugar, mostly glucose, which is absorbed into the bloodstream extremely quickly because of the fruit's low fiber content. Compared to apples or oranges, grapes have very little fiber to slow down sugar absorption. When you eat grapes, the sugar in your blood rises almost immediately, putting a strain on the pancreas. For those at risk of pancreatic fatigue or insulin resistance, this is a direct blow. On top of that, many imported grapes are coated with shiny wax, preservatives, and fungicides to keep them fresh longer. These chemicals are not friendly to the liver and kidneys, 2 organs that have already weakened significantly after the age of 60. Many people also make the mistake of eating grapes with sugary yogurt or ice cream, which makes blood sugar levels dangerously high after a meal. If you must have grapes, older people should only eat a few, have them in the morning with fiber-rich foods, and never on an empty stomach. 3. Durian, the king of sweetness and fat. Durian can be considered the king of tropical fruits, not just for its unique fragrance but also for its high nutritional value. However, this is one fruit that is not for older people with diabetes, high blood pressure, or heart disease. On average, 100 grams of durian contains more than 27 grams of carbohydrates, including a lot of easily absorbed simple sugars and starches. On top of that, durian contains a high amount of saturated fat, which can increase bad cholesterol, thicken the blood, and raise the risk of a blockage. I once had an older patient who fainted from a sudden drop in blood pressure just hours after eating durian with a fizzy drink. Combining durian with beer, coffee, or soft drinks is absolutely forbidden, as it can cause a metabolic disorder and increase the risk of a stroke. For older people, especially those with an already weak constitution, durian should be off the menu. If you really love it, you should only eat 1 or 2 small pods, never in the evening, and absolutely not with hot or stimulating foods. 4. Rambutan, a small fruit with a big glycemic impact. Rambutan has a soft, spiky shell and a clear, white flesh with a pleasant, sweet taste. But behind its cute appearance is a fruit with a relatively high glycemic index, ranging from 59 to 66, which means it can cause a moderate to high increase in blood sugar. Rambutan contains a lot of fructose but lacks fiber, so eating too many can cause blood sugar levels to rise sharply in a short period. The worrying thing is that because rambutans are so small, older people can easily eat too many without even realizing it. I once saw an elderly woman casually eat 15 rambutans in one evening, unaware that she was consuming nearly 30 grams of sugar. The next morning, she was dizzy, nauseous, couldn't eat anything, and had to be hospitalized for a blood sugar spike and digestive issues. Rambutan is also a hot food, and eating it in the evening or with spicy foods can cause indigestion and bloating, which can lead to acid reflux that affects sleep and the cardiovascular system. Additionally, if rambutans are not stored correctly, they can develop bacteria that cause diarrhea and stomach pain, which are very dangerous for older people with a weakened immune system. 5. Jackfruit, overloading the digestive system and disrupting blood sugar. Jackfruit has a pungent, sweet, and intense aroma that many older people love. But 100 grams of jackfruit contains more than 23 grams of carbohydrates, including easily absorbed sugars and starches. Jackfruit is also quite high in calories, averaging nearly 100 kilocalories per 100 grams. For people who are not very active, eating jackfruit often can increase the risk of fat accumulation and weight gain, putting stress on the heart and circulatory system. Jackfruit is also a hot food, and eating too much can cause bloating, indigestion, and constipation. For those with liver, kidney, or pancreatic issues, digesting and metabolizing jackfruit becomes a real burden. I had a diabetic patient who was hospitalized with diarrhea and fatigue, and whose blood sugar had exceeded the safe level after eating jackfruit for 3 consecutive days. If older people still want to eat jackfruit, they should only have 1 or 2 small pods, preferably in the morning, and not with milk, ice, or other sweet foods. For dangerous fruit-eating habits for diabetics. When we think of fruit, we automatically assume it's a good, safe, and nutritious food. This isn't wrong. But because many people believe that all fruit is harmless, they unknowingly adopt bad habits that make it difficult to control blood sugar, disrupt digestion, and silently strain the heart and pancreas. For older people, especially those dealing with diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or liver and kidney issues, eating fruit isn't just about flavor, it's about healing, nourishing, and maintaining overall health. I want to share 4 very common and seemingly harmless habits that are actually silently destroying the health of older people. Habit 1. Eating fruit immediately after a big meal. I believe this is a habit many families still have. Eating a few pieces of fruit for dessert after a main meal seems perfectly reasonable, and it's a way to get vitamins after eating. But for people with blood sugar, liver, or digestive issues, this is not a safe choice. After a meal, especially one rich in starch like white rice, bread, or noodles, the amount of sugar in the blood has already started to rise. The pancreas has to release insulin to process the sugar from the starch. If you then immediately eat fruit, which also contains sugar, even if it's natural, the body has to release insulin for a second time in a row, before the pancreas has had time to recover. If you repeat this every day, your pancreas will become tired, and its ability to secrete insulin will decrease, leading to insulin resistance or uncontrolled blood sugar. For older people, this can also contribute to heart rhythm disorders, high blood pressure after meals, long-lasting fatigue, and difficulty sleeping at night. Therefore, you shouldn't eat fruit immediately after a meal. Give your stomach time to rest and digest the main course. It's best to wait about an hour after eating to have a moderate amount of fruit. This not only reduces the burden on your pancreas but also increases your body's ability to absorb the vitamins and minerals in the fruit. Habit 2. Drinking fruit juice instead of eating whole fruit. I understand that many older people prefer juice because it's light on the stomach, easy to drink, and convenient. Some people even consider a glass of juice a must-have in the morning. But the sad truth is that this habit can cause blood sugar levels to rise faster than almost any other food. When you press fruit for juice, most of the fiber, which slows down sugar absorption, is completely removed. What's left in the glass is just the water containing fructose and glucose, 2 simple sugars that go straight into your bloodstream. When you drink juice, this sugar is quickly absorbed, causing your blood sugar to spike in a matter of minutes. What's more, juice doesn't make you feel full, so it's easy to drink more than you need without even knowing it. And that's when your pancreas has to go into overdrive, your liver has to filter continuously, and your heart has to pump faster to keep the blood stable. I once had a patient who drank a glass of apple juice every morning, thinking he was taking care of his health. But after only a few months, his blood sugar became uncontrolled, he developed fatty liver, and his sleep became disrupted. So what's the solution? Eat the whole fruit. When you eat the entire fruit and chew it well, your body gets not only the sugar but also the fiber, digestive enzymes, vitamins, and minerals. All these elements combine to create a complete and balanced digestive process. If you really need to drink juice, dilute it with water, absolutely do not add sugar, and limit yourself to under 100 milliliters per serving. Never use juice to replace a meal. Habit 3. Eating fruit in the evening or before bed. Many people think that eating fruit in the evening is light on the stomach and won't cause weight gain. But in reality, this is one of the habits most likely to cause a silent blood sugar spike during the night. After 8 p.m., the activity of your pancreas begins to slow down. Your stomach also no longer digests food as quickly as it does during the day. If you eat a lot of sweet fruit at this time, your body will have a hard time processing it, and the sugar can build up in your blood. As a result, you might experience a racing heart in the middle of the night, shallow sleep, waking up suddenly, or feeling tired the next morning without knowing why. This is very common in older people who have a habit of snacking on fruit in the evening. In addition, many hot fruits like mangoes, lychees, rambutan, and jackfruit, when eaten at night, can cause indigestion and bloating, which can lead to acid reflux and affect your sleep and cardiovascular system. The advice here is if you want to eat fruit in the evening, eat it as early as possible, ideally before 6 p.m. Limit intensely sweet fruits and replace them with options that have a low glycemic index, such as apples, grapefruit, cucumber, or a bit of ripe guava. And most importantly, eat only a small amount, just as a light snack, and never as a replacement for a main meal. Habit 4. Dipping fruit in salt, condensed milk, chili, or sweet and salty toppings. A plate of plain fruit is healthy, but adding a spoonful of chili salt, a little condensed milk, or a drizzle of syrup instantly turns that healthy snack into a bomb of sugar, salt, and additives. Many people have a habit of dipping green mango in salt and chili, dipping amberella, cock in sweet fish sauce, or mixing fruit with condensed milk and ice. While these habits may be delicious, they are extremely harmful for people with diabetes, high blood pressure, and those with liver or kidney problems. Condensed milk and syrups are sources of refined sugar with a very high absorption rate, which can cause sudden blood sugar spikes. Salt, especially industrial chili salt, contains excessive sodium, which, when combined with sour fruit, can cause a rapid increase in blood pressure. The spiciness from the chili and the salt can also irritate your stomach and cause ulcers if you eat it on an empty stomach or too frequently. The solution here is simple but requires determination. Get used to eating fruit plain, without adding any seasonings. If you want to enhance the flavor, you can lightly sprinkle on some chia seeds, a few slices of fresh ginger, or eat it with plain yogurt. Let the natural sweetness of the ripe fruit be what your body appreciates, instead of being tricked by artificial additives. For golden rules for eating fruit to stabilize blood sugar and live longer. Many people think that eating fruit is simple, just eat it whenever you like, the more the better, and the sweeter the tastier. But for older people, especially those living with diabetes or issues with blood pressure, cholesterol, liver, or kidneys, how you eat is just as important as what you eat. A healthy fruit can become a poison if eaten at the wrong time, in the wrong way, or in the wrong amount. And conversely, if you know how to use it correctly, fruit can become one of the most wonderful natural medicines for older people. Here are 4 golden rules that I always impress upon my elderly patients. These are not just my personal experiences but conclusions drawn from hundreds of international nutritional studies combined with years of clinical practice. Rule 1. Eat fruit at the right time. The time you eat fruit determines whether it's truly good for you. For a healthy person, it's fine to eat it any time. But for older people, especially diabetics, the timing can directly affect blood sugar, sleep quality, and digestive function. The best times to eat fruit are in the morning after a light meal, or in the middle of the morning and the middle of the afternoon. This is when your body needs a gentle energy boost, your blood sugar is stable, and your digestive system is ready to work. Fruit eaten at this time will be absorbed slowly and gently, helping you stay alert while providing vitamins and minerals without putting a strain on your pancreas. Absolutely do not eat fruit on an empty stomach in the early morning or when you're too full after a main meal. You should also avoid eating it after 7 p.m. because at night, your metabolism slows down, causing the sugar from the fruit to build up and raise your blood sugar while you sleep. Many people suffer from insomnia and a racing heart at night, unaware that the culprit is that plate of fruit they ate in the evening, thinking it was light on the stomach. Rule 2. Eat whole fruit and chew it well, don't drink juice. If I had to give one piece of short advice that would have a long-lasting effect, it would be, eat your fruit with your teeth, don't drink it with a straw. When you eat whole fruit, you get all the fiber, enzymes, and nutrients from the flesh to the skin. This slows down sugar absorption, increases the feeling of fullness, supports digestion, and helps regulate insulin. Fruit juice, whether homemade or store-bought, usually contains very little fiber and a high concentration of simple sugars. When you drink juice, the sugar enters your bloodstream much faster and more forcefully than when you eat the whole fruit. Moreover, because it doesn't make you feel full, it's very easy to drink more than you need, causing a sudden blood sugar spike without you even realizing it. Therefore, you should prioritize whole fruit, cut it into small pieces, and chew slowly. This is not just a healthier way to eat but also helps your body relax and activates your digestive system naturally and effectively. Rule 3. Combine fruit with other foods to stabilize blood sugar. On its own, even the healthiest fruit only provides a small part of the necessary nutrients. But if you know how to combine it with other supportive foods, the nutritional benefits will multiply many times over. For example, eating a banana with oats and a few chia seeds will help you feel full longer and stabilize your blood pressure. Eating an apple with a few walnuts will help lower cholesterol and prevent blood vessel aging. A few slices of mango eaten with plain yogurt will increase the absorption of vitamins A and E while supporting your digestive system. All of these combinations are based on the principle of slowing down the metabolism of sugar and adding healthy fats and light protein to help regulate insulin naturally. The key is not to combine fruit with sugary toppings like condensed milk, syrup, chili salt, or processed sweets. These only increase the risk of blood sugar disruption, weight gain, and cancel out the benefits of the fruit. Rule 4. Eat a variety of fruits throughout the week. Each type of fruit is a unique gift from nature, offering different nutrients and benefits. Apples are rich in soluble fiber, guavas are rich in vitamin C, bananas are rich in potassium and serotonin, mangoes provide beta-carotene, and papayas are rich in papain for digestion. No single fruit is perfect in every way. But if you eat a variety of fruits throughout the week, your body will receive comprehensive and balanced support. In addition, each fruit has a different glycemic index. If you only eat one type of fruit, even if it's a good one with a medium or high glycemic index, it will force your pancreas to work continuously. On the other hand, rotating different fruits will help stabilize your blood sugar and avoid unnecessary strain. Therefore, you should make a weekly fruit chart for yourself. For example, eat papaya on Monday, apples on Tuesday, bananas on Wednesday, guavas on Thursday, dragon fruit on Friday, grapefruit on Saturday, and take a break on Sunday or eat a fruit that you like. This variety is not only good for your physical health but also keeps your mind fresh and prevents boredom. To conclude, I just want you to remember one thing: fruit is a gift from the heavens, but how we use it determines whether it is medicine or poison. If you can adjust the timing, the way you eat, the amount, and know how to combine it harmoniously, even if you're living with diabetes, your heart can still beat strongly, your mind can stay sharp, and your sleep can be restful every night. My friends, after going on this journey together to learn about 4 healthy fruits for diabetics, 5 fruits to avoid for harmful habits, and 4 golden rules for eating fruit, I believe the most important thing is not how much information you remember, but whether you have truly changed your perception of fruit and health in old age. Not everyone has the means to take expensive medicine. Not everyone has the time to follow complex diets. But everyone can start with small, simple changes in their daily lives, like a plate of papaya in the morning, a banana with a few almonds, or a clean apple eaten at the right time. Taking care of your health in old age doesn't have to be a big deal. It doesn't have to start with expensive checkups or long prescriptions. Sometimes it's just a very small act, eating the right kind of fruit, at the right time, in the right way. From there, your body will know how to heal itself, gently stabilize blood sugar, improve sleep, boost memory, and keep your heart beating steadily for years to come. I have seen many older people who lived in confusion and fatigue, relying on medicine every day, who gradually regained their independence just by eating correctly. In this process, fruit plays a big role, and I believe you can do the same. You don't have to be an expert, you just have to listen to your body and start with the simplest things. Don't let old beliefs make you miss out on the valuable benefits of nature. And don't lose faith in yourself because of one mistake. The human body, especially in the golden years, is fragile yet miraculous. If you treat it right, it will respond with health, clarity, and peace of mind. If after listening to this, you can confidently tell yourself, I will choose the right fruit, eat it the right way, and love my body more every day, then that is the starting point for a peaceful and vibrant old age. And if you found this information useful, please don't hesitate to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with family and friends, especially those living with diabetes, high blood pressure, or who are struggling with bad eating habits. Because a small click might just help an old friend, a sick neighbor, or even your own children avoid a mistake, live healthier, and love life more. I'm Dr. Minh Tung, your companion on the path to natural, healthy nutrition, and I'm grateful for what the earth has given us. I wish you all peace, stable blood sugar, a healthy heart, and restful sleep. I look forward to seeing you in my next videos on this channel.